Here we are with episode 10 of Why Is Your Podcast on a Dead Girl's Phone? My name is Niles, and today's guest for episode 10 is the one and only Emily Sinclair herself, Sarah Burns. I am so excited to talk to her right now, and I can't believe she said yes to come on, and I'm so excited to talk everything from going toe-to-toe with Viola Annalise, the flash forward, of course, with her dead at Hapstall Manor, splatting on the pavement. And then, of course, later when we find out that Asher runs her over in the parking garage. And I'm just so excited to talk about her entire experience on the show. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And yeah, here we go. First off, I just wanted to say thank you again for coming on and being my 10th guest. Oh my God. I can't believe I got so many. So it's been fun so far. I kind of wanted to start off with how you first got into acting and theater and born in Long Island, New York, and all that. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about starting up and all that.
Well, I grew up in a town called Rockville Center, New York, and Amy Schumer is from Rockville Center, and so is June Diane Raphael. And I'm not entirely sure, but I think Joan Jett lived in Rockville Center. I stood next to her once on the street and became who I am as a result. I was only like 6 or 7, but she's wearing red Reebok sneakers.
Remember,
and it was the coolest. I felt like I think she might notice me. I don't know. I don't think she did, but that's who I am. So I guess we produce a lot of real ass kickers. But I think I don't know. I'm shy, and I think that performing is a very good little layer of protection, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because I sometimes when I'm talking to people one-on-one in person, I notice that I stand instead of just directly facing. If I notice it, I get in my head about it. But I notice that I'm almost standing away, like as if I have any need to escape, I have a direction.
Towards the exit,
right? Which would be so peculiar because I spend time mostly with people I know very well. But so I've come to this kind of conclusion that performing was a natural way for me to protect myself from shyness. Because if I have to get onto a stage and speak as myself, I blank out. I have no idea what happens. I come to always in the same desert, next to 5 dead bodies. No, I'm just kidding. But I get kind of away from myself. But performing and as a character, I feel really free and excited and away from all the anxieties that Sarah Burns, carry around with me. So, because I know as a child, anytime I got on stage, I would shut down.
Oh man, me too. I can't do that. Public speaking or anything like that.
No, I can't. I mean, I have friends that are stand-ups and they walk on to, we all know what stand-ups are, but there are people who tell great jokes. But that to me is I can't even imagine doing it. And I did it once with the terrible, terrible results. I was hit by a taxi cab afterwards.
No.
But it wasn't moving. I walked into the taxi cab.
You hit the cat. Oh.
Yeah, I should have. But it doesn't sound as good when I say that because whiskey factored into the stand-up. But when I finally locked back into it after college and comedy, I found a great community at the UCB Theater, and it was so great to disappear and, become characters that I'd spent time with watching movies since I was a kid. And my parents, we watched old movies and old comedians my whole life growing up. So it just, I don't know, maybe I just found it, after college at the right time, but now I don't want to ever give it up.
Never. Do you have any did you have any you said you watched a lot of comedic movies. Did you have any role models from those movies that you always looked up to? Or
I had some favorite movies growing up. I loved Katharine Hepburn
Oh,
because I watched like um, Bringing Up Baby and like I could see that movie. I love that movie.
over and over again. Just
Oh,
never
have you
gets old.
seen that movie?
I haven't. No.
Oh, oh, will you watch it and then let me know what you think? There's it's
Yes, I
so
remember from
it's
that.
so if you don't, I'll harass you until now that I have your phone number. I
Text.
can.
Did
Um,
you watch it?
oh my god, I'm putting like Sarah, I have a life. Can you please get away from? But
I
that just like it actually bombed when it came out, but I think eventually it picked up and found people who love it. Maybe like decades later. But that and like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, and I watched Laurel and Hardy growing up, and like I was obsessed with Bette Midler and
yeah.
Goldberg. I love them, I still do. I have Bette Midler's kids book, and
She wrote a book. Oh, I didn't know that.
yes, it's fabulous. This was like even her children's books are rad. But
Did you see the Hocus Pocus sequel news today that they're all three coming back for Bette
I did not
Midler
see
and
that. But I think I. Oh no. This is such a thing that I'm like, oh, I know that. I auditioned for that. No, you didn't. No, I didn't. I did
ooh,
not see
that'd be
that.
good.
But I haven't. I haven't. I have been a little remiss about checking headlines the way I was devouring them. A year ago at this time, I'd be like, oh my god.
Scroll,
And
scroll, scroll.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like when someone used the term doom scrolling, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the year was like. So for something changed, and I haven't been. So I'm a little remiss. I mean, I check it sometimes to make sure that the world hasn't been taken over by
Completely. Yeah.
like, am I dead? I should probably check the news. But no, that's exciting.
I can't wait for that. Did you have any challenges first starting or getting into the comedy parts and the improv and all that?
Well, I took a class at this place called like it was like a place you could go take a free class called Performance of a Lifetime, and then I then it was just like you take one free class, you decide if you like it, and I liked it, and then I took that a couple times, and then I found this other school that did improv, and then someone was like, you should check out the UCB, and I went there. Probably my own crippling anxiety was my biggest roadblock, but I had this approach to acting I thought would work. Like, I was when I started the UCB, I had like this thing. I was taking classes there and rehearsing.
That's the upright
Yeah, oh,
citizens bit, yeah.
the Upright Citizens Grade. And when I started, it was still on 26th Street, and then bounced around, and then eventually ended up on like shit, I can't remember. I went a couple blocks, and I was already in Los Angeles by the time it moved to its big place, but final resting place. I hope not. But by that point, I was like, I thought if I took a kind of a 360 approach to acting, I would have success. Maybe sometimes I was treading water in too many places, but I was studying with an acting teacher at Lee Strasberg named Susan Cohen, and she didn't want me to do comedy. She was like, yeah, you're not funny looking enough.
Nope.
But she taught me how to like feel my emotions and cry and not cry, and she was great. She got really pissed off when she found out that I had pierced my tongue in college. She's like, is that why you have that thing in your mouth, like that weird lisp? And but everyone gets pissed off when they find out about that. It's gone now, but it seems to have creating enduring resentment in anyone who finds out.
Sinclair with a tongue ring, that'd be
cool. Yeah, exactly. Like lawyer by night, but wild woman from the 90s lawyer by day, wild woman from the 90s. But you know what? We got to workshop that. But
it's almost.
I think maybe my biggest hurdle was how you have this. Well, I think I have this thing where you're like, no, don't do that, you're not. But then there's a weird little part of you that's like, dude, do it. Can I say
You're bad.
honest? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Just get out there. But you have this party that's like, dude, you're the shit. Go get it. But convincing everybody else that doesn't always happen. And so sometimes I go places and I'm like, guys, I'm really cool. Why doesn't anybody get that? And they're like, because you got lasagna on your shirt. Get the hell out of, whatever. But so I think sometimes getting people on board with my particular whatever it is that I do is called. That's I'm still getting there.
Still working out a title.
Yeah, I truly I have no answer. It's all happening in real time as we speak. I'm just gonna drink from a jar. That's all I have today. But
hydration.
Yeah, really like eating out of a pickle jar and drinking out
of. Going from like such a comedic roles in the other roles that you've played from TV shows and stuff, and then going from like Emily Sinclair, like did you ever have any challenges getting to those different parts of who the character is?
Well, to get the opportunity to do my work with Viola Davis, it's like, I mean, she's the most incredible actress. She's so,
speechless, right?
I'm like, oh God. Did you ever see Doubt, the movie Doubt?
Yeah, with Meryl, yeah.
That scene of hers, that's so emotional and so it's like a few minutes long, and she's so economical, and she could totally. It was like, wait, who is this woman?
Snatched it from Meryl, yeah. Just
oh my God, I know. Meryl Streep. Anyway, she's so good. So I did not want to F it up. I was like,
oh no.
Don't blow it. And she, like if you play tennis with someone who's better than you, your game gets better. So the shame of failing with her, not that she at all made me like, okay, get this right. She was really lovely and welcoming and giving, and I'm quaking in my boots privately, like, oh, I've never really been in the presence of an angel.
Facing the exit.
Like, oh yeah, I'll be right there. But just she set the tone for very good work, and she's like, she was accessible as like a co-star, like a co-worker. And I mean, my time on that show was as a true guest, but what?
Iconic guest.
Oh yes. I only choose the most iconic of those. I like to, every time I get a part, I think, will this end up as an alabaster statue? No, I won't take it. Just kidding. But I felt really like welcomed, and I had access to my scene partners, like and her. And I don't know that my game got better as a result, but that's what I aimed for. Like, not to go off on a maniac tangent, but she would get pages of dialogue, and where I would flub something like that for a consistent 7 to 10 years before I got it together, she just was so good. So it's like, don't mess it up, Burns. It's just going through my head.
Constant. Yeah. One of the scenes I want to bring up later is one of her long pages, or her dialogues, is one of my favorite scenes between you and her. So
is that when she's in the court? Is that or when we're at a desk together?
The court one, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about. I remember just being like, I gotta a lot more with my craft. She's good.
Damn, I can't. Oh man. Emmy.
Yeah. And it's not like, oh, we'll get this by Frankensteining this scene together and you can say, 11 words of a clip. It was done. Like, and there's nothing to hide behind. You can't hide behind a podium or something and like
little court table.
Yeah, or just like have it written out. One day on the set, I was coming down with the flu.
Oh,
and I was, when you're at that point where you're like, I see yellow, but that's all that's happening, and now I'm seeing my hands, and I don't recognize. And it was luckily like a very short scene, but I continued to write out what I was supposed to say so that I wouldn't botch it.
Oh my!
I didn't trust that I wouldn't be like, which now think about it. Imagine going to work with like cold. You'd be like shot on sight. So yeah, get out. So
2 weeks, come back.
Yeah, come back in 2 weeks and let us like point at your forehead.
I work at an elementary school, and they just like lifted the mask thing today for all staff and students, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. So that
wear it if you want, if you want, or are they trying to make you not wear it?
No, you can still wear it. Yeah, but most of the people still did. But I was kind of like the governor decided that this morning, so I was like, oh.
I know. I like wearing the mask for a couple different reasons. It's great sun protection. Like I wear the mask, sunglasses, and often a hat, like a
big hat
outside. Wrap my face in like a big thick towel, and I wear No, but it's great sun protection, and it's also great if you kind of like run into someone you don't know very well, but you think you might have to say. You don't have to think about it because they don't know who you are. You can just be like, keep on going, So, but I don't know. It's going to be hard to go back.
I like
in public
or like having a cough, like knowing, or like a scratchy throat or something, like knowing you're not sick, but everyone else is going to be like, oh my God.
that actually happened to me a couple months ago. I went into Joann's Arts and Crafts or Joann's Fabrics because I love it there. I did work for Michael's Arts and Crafts in college, but I've become a Joann's devotee. But anyway, I know I'm terrible. Actually, I think I can officially be jailed by the Michaels. No, I'm just kidding. But I was standing in line and I was like, it's not COVID. And because I haven't seen anyone. It's so scary.
I think my biggest takeaway from the mask is when I'm at the gym on the treadmill and I can like lip sync to my songs and it doesn't look like I'm speaking in tongues or something. I can just hide behind my mask singing.
That's actually great. So are you a lip syncer versus an out loud singer?
I'm like an out loud singer in the car, but when I'm by myself, or with my friends, but that won't judge me. But or lip syncing in the gym, yeah, because
I lip sync when I'm with other people. So that
opposite.
No, I lip sync like when I'm around people, but I sing out loud when I'm with my family. Actually, my boyfriend Giovanni was the first person that I felt like. Well, I call him my partner because I feel like boyfriend sounds silly, but partner, I feel like partner anyway. But the father of my child, the guy who leaves belts around my house, but
the technician,
everything, the camera department in my household. But he, I can sing in front of him, and my daughter. My daughter sings all the time, and we sing together. But usually it's like lip syncing, and so maybe the mask is great for that.
It works so like a dark mask, yeah, just
because you look a little crazy when you're like
with no for word. An hour and
yeah, like okay, you're doing you know.
Stay away from
me. Yeah, I did at a gym once. I listened to a guy sing a song. Like I don't know what we're feeling, and it was so weird because I couldn't make out what he was singing. but he didn't care. He wasn't loud. And and I won't continue with this. Have you ever heard those people run by on the street and they're just belting out a song?
No.
It's crazy, and but it's so exciting because you're like, that person.
I've been there, but I saw a TikTok video recently of someone like booking it down the street, and yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. But yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, this is a police.
Who are they running from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing. When you see people running down the street, and you, depending upon like what clip they're running at, like, are they running from someone? Running?
Do I stop them? Or
is something falling? Like,
should I run?
Tackle them? Is there to make a citizen's arrest?
Should I run with it?
Yeah. Yeah, you just keep going. Like, what are we doing? Where are we going?
Forrest Gump across the country.
Yeah.
Oh man. Another big role that I really loved from yours was on Big Little Lies, season 1. Were you on season 2?
No, I didn't do season 2.
Just season, yeah, the superior season.
Yeah,
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, and because it was such a phenomenal series. And
that show, I'm still in contact with a group of parents that I was part of the Monterey.
The testify that we're going, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
In fact, we stayed in touch. We stay in touch kind of frequently, and we even all texted yesterday.
Oh.
And Kellen Coleman was also on, who played one of the parents, was also on How to Get Away with Murder.
Asher's sister, yeah.
Yeah, and
I've been trying to get her on the pod. I haven't got a response yet, though. But
she's pretty radical. Let's see what we can do. But this group of friends, I'm talking about the social things, but I mean, it was cool. Jean-Marc, the director, got a lot of coverage, and like there's 360 degrees in a circle, but I think he managed to find like 780 degrees of coverage. But it's so beautiful, and it's really something to be in the same room as Laura Dern and Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon. And,
oh my god!
Yeah, like it's crazy, But it's really nice to watch them work, from up close, but from afar, to be able to like, I'm just gonna gawk, respectfully, of course, and not creepily, but just like, it's pretty cool. It was cool. It was neat. I was actually found out that I was pregnant the last week that I was on How to Get Away with Murder, and worked throughout my entire pregnancy on Big Little Lies. So that was pretty cool, because it's a little frightening sometimes to think like, how am I going to balance a changing body with continuity, and but Big Little Lies was captained kind of by women. Not that men aren't understanding, but captained by women, so that I was accommodated very awesomely. So I was actually pregnant when I was lying under Asher's car when he killed Emily Sinclair in the parking garage. I had just found out, and the woman. It was kind of terrifying, because I didn't really know anything about what pregnancy was going to be like, and I was like, I'm killing my baby. I'm killing my baby. I was so nervous, and I couldn't tell anyone, and or I didn't tell anyone. Just lying underneath a vehicle for an extended period of time. Any period of time is extended when you're laying down underneath a car. Just like, oh my god, what's gonna do these things ever fall on people, or
are the tires gonna give out, or right, just weird,
or blow out, or like earthquake, just starts to go and it doesn't stop. So
oh my god. That's really cool though, that you have that little friend group with the Monterey parents and
they're really neat. They're really neat people. They're really, like, we've maintained a good crew. I like them. They're all doing really neat stuff, and and they're all funny as hell. I really like that, especially because I feel so much as like I spend so much as a time as a lone wolf socially, and so like it's nice to be a part of a group. I still can turn to the edge and shoot out, but
if you need to, yeah.
yeah, if I need, I can be like, I'm out. But yeah, they're good people.
Love that. And then some other roles before we get to murder, but New Girl, Going the Distance, Wet Hot American Summer, on Netflix, and then Barry too. All of those were really good.
Barry and Wet Hot American Summer, I was like an uber fan before getting on the show. Wet Hot American Summer, the first time I met David Wayne was on like we were both in a movie together, and I was like, I'm not gonna waste this chance. I was like, oh, I gushed because Wet Hot American Summer is it's so funny. It's so even when it does like little silly. I don't want to use this word, but like silly jokes, or they're so smart. It like the way Sacha Baron Cohen can play so obtuse, but he's so smart because he's always like ahead of you to find out what
you're gonna, yeah,
stupid. And so I just love the way Wet Hot American Summer is so smart in its absolute silly debauchness. So I flipped out, and then when I got the part on the show, it was so exciting. It felt like, you know, getting to step through a television screen into your favorite show. I mean, if you like watch that show, if you were to like zone in on my face and I'm smiling, you'd be like, she's not even I was just like
in the moment, right?
There was like one scene I remember filming where we were all the whole group of friends is supposed to be striding across the camp. Like, yeah, we own this place. And Sarah Burns, not my character, was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
I'm here.
I feel that way about Barry. I can't believe sometimes what I'm reading. It's so good. It's so good.
You have such a good filmography, so it's so good. And then I was wondering if you could talk about Werewolves Within, and then Eat Wheaties is kind of like the recent stuff that you're doing. So I was wondering if you could talk about those projects.
I would love to. I actually just saw the poster for Werewolves Within this morning. It's so cool. I'll go chronologically with Eat Wheaties. There's like Tony Hale. I love Tony. I'd never met Tony until the read-through of the movie, and I met Scott, the director, through a mutual friend. Andrew, the creator of the television show Married, he was like, "Hey, you guys get along. That sounds great. If you don't, leave me out of it." And that's how he introduced it. And it's like Tony Hale. I don't even know what happens after that. I just know I'm showing up, and so because he's a dreamboat. I mean, and that was cool. That was like definitely a labor of love movie. It was made. A lot of the people were friends and family, and not mine. Well, actually, no, my partner worked on the film, but and that came out a couple of weeks ago, and that was one of the few movies, this sounds crazy, but one of the few movies that I'm in that I could take my own critical voice, like shut that off and just sit back and like
and watch it.
Enjoy that film. Yeah, really. It was nice to see it happening again, but like revisiting, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. We were chatting about this. Oh, I was worried about getting a sunburn. Yes. Those genes do me no justice, but I didn't have that voice. I truly enjoyed watching it. I hope other people did too, you know. So
love it. Tony Hale. Oh my God.
He's so rad.
And then Werewolves Within, any is that have a release date yet or anything or?
Yes, it's coming out. It's premiering at Tribeca, and it's coming out like in 2 weeks. It's going to be there, and it's that film festival is going to be live. It's people will be
Oh,
together,
in person. Damn.
but I don't think much of the I don't know if any of the cast will be because flying and but I don't know what to plan for that. But it
Still
debuted.
exciting though. I bet it is.
I can't wait for people to see this movie because we had so much fun making it, and I can't wait to see everything again. I can't wait to be back in those moments again. I had so much fun making it. I got to do a real different turn in my work, and it's exactly kind of it's what I would love to pursue more of. Um, but there were so many moments where people would be like, you'd be doing the scene, and you could see it was so hard to keep for me to keep my shit together because people are so strong in this movie, individually, together, in combinations, and the script is so good. Misha Wolf wrote it, and it's so funny. And then Josh Rubin, it's like, and like I felt like the crew was family, and we were in beautiful snowy New York. It was rad.
I miss New York.
Did you live there?
No, my best friend Sarah used to live there, and then I would have a place to, or without the H. Sorry.
Okay, I got that for a second now.
We can be best friends too.
Yeah, okay. You need a Sarah with an H, so I'm can be that for you.
Room for more Sarahs. No, she used to live there, and she's a teacher, so she used to teach at a charter school in Brooklyn. So I would always have a place to stay and come visit all the time. So
I miss having like a little spot to return to in New York. I lived in Brooklyn, and I miss being able to be part. I think I'm biased, but I think it's the greatest city, and so being able to like. And I was watching something last night, and I thought, "Oh my God, that takes place in my old neighborhood." And zoomed in and was like, "What?" And I thought, "Oh no, I've been gone so long. New York City is like a way, like waves of water. It's constantly changing and pulling people away, and then like coming back and building up again. Or I don't know if that's a metaphor.
Right, one trip could be completely, yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
It's either like we stumbled on something there, or that's the ramblings of a maniac. I don't know, but it just feels like it's always changing, so you have to kind of give up, being like, well, it's different now. But I realize like I don't even know if I know that city as well anymore. But I miss it.
Right, you always miss it.
The interview takes a very dark turn. But we got to be in the Catskills, and that's like, did you ever get to visit up there? Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Something. I want to go to like a musical again or something, like a Broadway show or something.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess things are beginning to slowly open.
Yeah, I think all the Broadways are like September and stuff, reopening and all that. So
a lot of that, it probably start, I'm no expert, but people feeling confident to do it. I'm always like, well, let's see how it looks in 2 to 3 weeks. And then I'm also like, I can do so much stuff in my home, and I'm thrilled about that.
Right. Cleaning it, right.
What's that word you just used?
Don't say that word.
No, I look around, I'm like, there's enough dog hair and cat hair in my house to, address or outfit a group of cats and dogs. We'll make smaller dogs, but I mean, everyone will get a scarf and a vest.
Oh my God. I need one of those little sticky roller things.
Yeah, that's just like we buy those sticky roller things in bulk, but they're not open. Like no one's using them. I've given in. Are you a cat or dog person?
I've never owned a dog, but I've had cats, but I've always wanted a dog, so I'll say dog person, yeah.
I've always had cats, and no, I've always had cats and dogs. All the dogs in my life were like, oh, that's funny. You didn't
didn't mention.
Okay, that's cool. I thought we had a thing, but I've started as a cat person, but
Here's this extra fur to clean up. No,
yeah.
you
Oh,
didn't
thanks,
mention.
guys. My dog, anyway, we're not here to talk about my dog, my cat. That's the other podcast.
I'm starting that one next week if you
Yes,
want to come.
yes, I do. Your dog, my cat, we're due.
Lint roller or sticky roller.
Yes, yes. When if you can very quickly lock down a lint roller sponsor, millions. That's all I want to say.
Oh, okay. I have your emails.
Yeah, and my cell phone. So
I kind of want to. You brought up when you were watching Eat Wheaties and you like completely were like in the movie and weren't like critiquing. Do you ever watch any of your other projects, or are you like? Because I know some actors are like they never watch any of their work. Do you ever watch any of your other work or?
that's pretty much all I watch. I'm my biggest fan. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, DVD, laser discs, VHS. I do watch my stuff. It's a little difficult, but my one of my agents, Sarah Clossy, said you have to watch your stuff. It's how you learn from your work, and and I thought she gives good advice. Uh, so this is probably more of that good advice. It's difficult though. You're like, oh man, why did I
Should
do
have
that?
done.
The whole like, come on, or like I wish I'd done it differently, or I figured the character out. I listened to something recently and I thought, oh, I wish I'd taken the character in a different way. But I can't run away from it. It's so, it'll be either be like it's there for other people to see. So if I watch it and learn from it, I'm not saying I'm taking any of these self notes and putting them into practice or have succeeded in getting fuller or better, but I do. But it is like sometimes like, whew, what the heck was that?
Pause. Take a break.
Like I gotta take a walk around the block. I think I'm gonna take up smoking. I need to like change smoking. Like what? You don't smoke? I do now. I do now.
I'm gonna clean rather than watch this.
I gotta go on like an 8-day detox before I can finish this 30 minutes sitcom.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that would be hard. Like I never like watch these episodes or the podcast episodes back. I usually just like listen to them because I don't like watching myself. But yeah, maybe I should start learning from myself or
Well, I think too, isn't it like when we look at ourselves in the mirror,
it's reverse or flip. Yeah.
and I think the same is true for film. So what I just occurred to me one single day ago where I was like, wait a second. Maybe I look completely normal because I see a crazy person. I'm just like, what's happening here? But maybe with our added kind of inner voice and I hear like our inner voices are shaped by our parents, like what our parents told us as kids, and if we have children, what we tell them as kids shapes their inner monologue. And my parents they're my biggest fans. They're like, trust your crazy ideas, and they say crazy things like as a kid, they'd be like, nah, life sucks and then you die. But come on, Sarah. Like they're very straight and funny and nuts and friends, but parents. Like I don't tell them everything, but inner voice in my head is I'm sorry, I'm getting a little rambly here, but maybe what we're seeing is filtered through our inner voices, and we should be surprised by ourselves, like how great we are, or mad. I don't know. I feel like I rambled a little and then kind of lost the thread, but
No, I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, like what your parents. Yeah.
yes, they had like a really crazy, interesting way of keeping me kind of, I don't know, keeping me alive and also making me aware of my own self. So any sort of any sort of doubt or anxiety I have, I don't think it came from them. I picked it up somewhere else along the way.
Where did it come from?
Well, seriously, I need to know.
Who do I need to talk to?
Yeah, so you, sir, all I did was try to buy a sandwich from you, but
Now look at me.
shambles. I'm an absolute shambles.
Look at all this fur.
I know, I really, why don't I just open some of the lint rollers in my house? It seems so simple. But the day is short and you don't have time to get it all done.
That is, yeah. Have podcasts to do.
Podcast still.
Birthdays to celebrate. Oh man. Okay. I think we should bring up murder now because I'm like bottling it in since Monday when you ditched me.
I'm so sorry. I know it's a power move. It's a power move. That's how I like. I keep people like, okay. No, I'm sorry. I felt like such an ass.
No.
And I sent you like 8 emails in succession.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like especially too. And then I thought it was. I feel like a couple of our exchanges. I'm taking time away from murder, but like, I feel like a couple of our exchanges have proven exactly what I strive not to be: unreliable. And
No.
I feel like if you tell a person you're going to do something, you do it. If you're not sure, don't agree to do it. Even if you're 17 margarita drunk, and if you can live through that, then please call. But just even if you're intoxicated, don't say you're going to do something because gotta do it. And I'm sorry I was so unreliable. Like,
No. I was joking.
we hadn't met, so you're just probably like, okay, yeah,
Hollywood act.
yeah, and this one comes. Like, I show up and it's not even me. It's just like an index card with some canned answers and like,
In a lawyer outfit. He'll never notice.
Yeah, exactly. Or that's even better. I show up in character.
Oh,
Hi,
Emily. Asher Millstone. Trotter Lake Asher.
I'll take you down.
Oh.
With hair in a bun. I go.
Iconic. Oh, okay, I'm ready. I was wondering if you could start with because your first appearance was in the end of season 1, the finale 115, when you show up to the house and they're like have Rebecca tied up on the couch and they're like trying to leave. Oh my God, they're like trying. I can't talk now. They're like trying to get the truth out of her, like what happened to Lila and the whole Sam thing, and then you show up at the door and your first scene is with Liza, and then Viola comes in, and because you're on the Sam Keating case, and yeah, I was wondering if you could talk about your audition, and was that the first, or that was your only scene? Yeah, your audition and how all that.
Well, this was a big deal because I got a phone call and I got offered this part. And it blew my mind because that had only happened one time before, for Party Down with and David Wayne was directing that, and I was like, wait, how?
Really?
What am I, Tom Cruise over here? Like this, I was really stunned, and very, very excited, and that it still excites me. I like auditioning for stuff, FYI, because then you can kind of work with the director and casting director to find the part. It's not just like going on the first day and being like, what do they want from me? Because I feel like I'm testing it out.
In added pressure, yeah.
Yeah, and what if they don't like it? Can they just have me killed or fired?
Well,
fired. But so I was excited and I was very curious how it all came together. But I had auditioned for the original Keating like at 5, and so right, yeah, 5, 6.
Yeah, 5.
I can't count. Sorry, I don't. But it didn't sound right coming out. But I'd originally auditioned for them, so I think it might have been a result of that. They remembered me, or they'd seen me make a disgrace of myself in real life or in some other work. But I remember walking up the stairs to the original audition, but I don't remember much beyond that. So,
damn, that's cool. You got off. That's really.
that was. I also truly believed that when I came back on season 2, that I would at some point begin like having, because I read somewhere that Shonda Rhimes will take a break at the end of her day at 5 and have a glass of wine, or have a glass of wine at 5. I just read this article. I don't know if it's still true. I don't know if, because she works constantly and she treats herself to a glass of wine. I thought, okay, well, I can get on board with that, and we're going to be close. We're going to be very good friends. I was like, we're going to meet, and she was working the whole time, so I never even got to meet her, but I still drank a lot of wine as if we were hanging out, but
she was there in spirit.
Yeah. Sorry guys, I can't have a chat. My legs don't work. I'm very good. But not at work, but yeah, I don't. Nobody wants to see me napping in full hair and makeup, so
in the courtroom, just pass out. And did you know at the end of season 1 that you were gonna be coming back for season 2 in the capacity that you were? Or?
I think it was kind of like pitched like that, but I did know that things could change between, when the writers' room got together, and how even just I honestly never believe until it's been shot and I'm watching it that I'm still gonna stay in it. I don't.
Who knows? Yeah, what they.
Yeah, so I didn't know, because they could have said, "Oh, well, we think Sarah sucked, so let's just replace her with someone," because they, sometimes when they replace an actor or an actress, it's like Bewitched or something, or Roseanne. People were like, "What?" But then they quickly give into it, and so I don't think people would have lost their minds, but nope, we demand justice.
Hashtag bring Sarah.
Yeah. She was in for 25 seconds, but my friend sent me a picture from that day. It was a meme of and I was like, oh my god, I arrived, because it said something like, I'm here to be a pain in your or something. I don't remember, but I was so thrilled.
We'll find it.
Yeah, I like, believe me, I've looked, because I'm a dork. But yes, that stuff will. I hope it never stops amazing me, because it does amaze me. That stuff.
Like the fan stuff, like what?
Well, yeah, anybody, like I feel too, like the people that I've interacted with that like the work I do are really my speed. I'm not on a huge platform. I don't have like bazillions of people, and with large crowds, there's always a couple wingnuts or something. But all the people that respond to my work and the people I've interacted with, I was really nervous when I called the other day, because I thought, we don't know each other. Yeah, I have constant fear of getting into trouble. And so I didn't know what to expect, and not that I thought you were gonna verbally assault me, but I felt like we kind of connected. So I kind of feel that way. The people I've interacted with, who are like, a lady came up to me once and said something about really liking the show I was on, and she said, "Oh, I don't want to interrupt you. Continue having a beautiful day." And she turned, and she was wearing a cape, and I thought, like,
yes, cape.
You get me. I dig it.
A lot of cape in your bag, and
yeah, and I threw my cape on. There's so many capes in my house, for just like life.
Next to the lint rollers, right?
Yeah, but the capes oddly are used much more frequently. So.
I bet, yeah. And then I was wondering if you could talk about that first day on set with working with Liza, and then Viola, and then Matt too, because I think you had that scene with Matt towards the end too of season 1.
In the house, it's kind of cool. It's like, it's very weird to walk onto a set and one that you've watched, and then be in it, and then you're watching the crew who managed to somehow disappear, except for their efforts, on the set. but you're watching it happen in real time, and it's so different. And you I was also, it's like walking into a family as someone's date. You're just, and also the character I'm playing is a pain in everyone's ass. But it's funny because my mother would call me during like when it was airing. She'd be like, "Oh my God, why do all these people hate you? They are murdering people." And I'm like, because everyone loves them. They're fun and cool and sexy and like they're messy human beings and smart and like Viola Davis and also Viola Davis and Viola Davis. Like so it was a no-brainer. Like, sure, you guys can kill someone, but
I'm just trying to get justice, but
yeah,
everyone hates me.
I always did want to see I mean, for selfish purposes, I always wanted to see why Emily Sinclair had it in for her. Like, why did she have it in for Annalise Keating? I wanted to know, and I guess that didn't. Jealousy? Did they have a battle in court years ago?
Ooh, that
was like, did she want to be his glam? I don't know, but I remember meeting them as the door opened for just like kind of a rehearsal, and it probably was good to meet them like that because just because it took the pressure off of trying to be a human being instead of being like a coworker. And coworker, well, granted, I wouldn't say referring to Viola. Like she wasn't putting me down. I wasn't forced to like fly on the ground. But like, oh, I'll just work from across the freeway. But it kind of if it anyway could be leveled the playing field. And it's funny because I feel like she does come off as such like a beautiful queen, but she doesn't interact like that level. Like she reacts like just the classiest
every day. Yeah.
Classiest, a classy person. And Liza was easy to talk to immediately, and it was nice. And Matt's really, I really like Matt. He's really engaged and interesting and like was easy to talk to, and like I think we kind of came from similar or close worlds and had some sort of like mutual friends and things. So he was nice to talk to. And
yeah, I met Liza a couple years ago when was that? Or yeah, 2 years ago. At the Paley Center in LA, they did like a panel for the final season, and we got to watch an episode early, and then they did like a panel, and then Charlie and Liza came out after the panel and found me, and then I got to meet them. And
that's exciting.
Oh my God.
But weren't they like, I don't know, but I don't know. It is different because you spend so much time watching people as an observer in the audience. So then meeting them, there's almost like a setup that's hard to overcome. But then when you meet people who are gracious and easy to relate to, it's really cool.
Yeah, it was like the best night ever.
Yeah, that's.
I haven't met it. I met Conrad and Jack too, so that's
so cool.
Good chunk of them so far.
I didn't get to spend. I met Conrad a couple times. I like Conrad so much. I'm like, oh, we should get to work together a little more. But like, as far as like, I didn't get to spend so much time with the other cast because I would usually go after Annalise. Like Liza would be there as well, or like there, it was a specific. So we didn't get to work too much.
The whole Hapstall case, and with Annalise. Oh my God. And then coming back for season 2, and having more scenes and stuff. Did you have any trouble like coming up with who Sinclair was going to be like in more episodes, like fully who she was gonna, or how you were gonna act her?
That's a good question. It's interesting because I got input from people, with the clothes, because I felt it's not my show. I'm a guest star, so I not always, but sometimes felt like I should defer. Hair and makeup has a vision, and um, it kind of what's the word? My hair um, kind of took on a different form throughout the show. That sounds like it became animated and is now living in Long Beach down by the ocean. But no, it like they kind of changed it so it had its own evolution, and I liked the wardrobe and how it fit me. And I had so much fun in the makeup trailer.
Oh my.
I really liked. I worked with a woman named Tiffany White who I adored, and I ate one of those garbage pail jelly beans. You know those games where you play. This is, I swear, this is an absurd way to answer your question. I'm aware of that, but you know the garbage pail, the game you play with the jelly bellies. If you like spin and you pick a green.
Oh, and it's like a nasty, or it could be like a nasty flavor, but it could be oh yeah, okay.
I played that game and that. I remember it was like the most stress I've ever had, and I've like given birth to a child, but I was like, but they knew what they were doing. Like they knew how to kind of provide an atmosphere, and she felt too. I always feel like when I approach a character that could be considered a villain, like what about this character is loved by her closest friends or her family mother or her family mother. I don't have a real family. I don't even know how people refer to their mothers, so I call them family mothers. Just kidding. But what what is she like when she's just feeling sad doing laundry, or like what's human about her? And so she's not a full villain. And so like how to make this woman human. I've done that with characters that could be considered villains, but this woman, it's cool, was hated. People have been like, I hate you. I hate you. Like, not me. I don't take it personally, because if that's the case, I'm like, okay, well. But no, and that makes me feel so happy because I'm like, hey, maybe I did my job that day.
Check. Right.
Yeah, like. It's like some sort of wind instrument I'm blowing. I don't know.
From right. I always got, or when it was airing, like, oh, Sinclair, go somewhere, or that's awesome that you don't take it to heart. That
it's so cool. I read something an actress wrote like 1,000 years ago about something. And how everyone hated her so much, and she was thrilled because it meant she was doing, like, how much do you hate like Who's Afraid of Baby Jane? Like, well, that's interesting because we were watching some reality play out on screen, I think. But just like if someone comes on and is like, I'm really, really bad, I'm mean, you'd be like, okay. But if you actually walk away and go, I hate that person. Unless they're a terrible piece of garbage in real life, then so whatever. But maybe I am terrible. It's like people will come in the room and be like, she wasn't acting. She's actually a piece of dog shit.
Turns off the computer.
Yeah, just technically a doctor. She's poison. But I don't know. I always worry that I'm always kind of on my case while working on a character. Sometimes I'm doing straight up comedy and not like doing as much character work maybe, but when I'm doing something specific like that, or just something that's coming for Werewolves Within, I'm constantly like, is this real? Staying on point. I never did sports. I didn't get like conditioned, or when I did, I just was in the ether, not paying attention to what was happening. So I try to engage with this.
Oh, I love it. Oh, God. You played her so good.
Thank you.
And then you mentioned Matt, and one thing like Sinclair did, other than get on everyone's nerves, was like introduce the audience to like Asher's backstory a little bit with the whole Trotter Lake thing and the gang rape cover up and all that. What was it? what? Oh my gosh. Well, working with Matt and then revealing that stuff about Asher. What was that?
Well, that's really, if you think, that's really interesting because,
Like
like,
using Asher like to get to the group, like
well, they're rarely like, because that some of that stuff, you know, you have, I'm just, excuse me, you see, has happened over the years. But think about so much stuff that's come out over, like, since that episode was shot or written or aired. How we've created, digital files of our past, like, transgressions, and like, I'm like, I didn't grow up with a cell phone, so like, no one can be like, wait, but being able to, like, no one, I mean, who can walk through the world and be like, I've never screwed up, or I mean, his screw ups are horrendous and
yeah.
in jail, but and like was able to cover it up and like, through being his privilege and stuff. I really liked Matt, so I felt I had to stay the course with my character to come out and try to wreck him. I just remember like sitting across the table and like presenting him with stuff and just like, he's so good at like, looking like deer in the headlights. Yeah. And there's a part of me that I know that what we're doing is performing and acting, but then you're like, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Like, of course you didn't. You were playing a character. You were clocking in and out, but
yeah, it's like the cases that they had on the show are like really have stayed relevant, or unfortunately some of them have stayed relevant and what's happening today. And so yeah, that like what digital foot of our
yeah. I mean, I guess yeah, I don't know if that's good or not, but like, I mean, granted, if you want, I mean, those things should come out. I think those things do come out. Like, I don't know, maybe there's a lot more things that happened at Trotter Lake in the world that, didn't come out. But like, my theory about committing crimes is like, you're going to get caught. Like, I'm always amazed. Like, of course you're going to get caught. Like,
what did you think?
What did you think? There are cameras everywhere. And if you're not being filmed by that camera, someone's there like just filming you, so I don't know. I don't want to go to jail, so I don't do a lot of crimes, but it's just, it doesn't work for my schedule currently. So
or running people over in parking garages. There's other people in parking garages. Like,
there's always someone. I mean, that truly, like, that's one of the reasons why I avoid parking garages, because there's always someone else in them. So like, I don't want to be in them.
Even if you don't see them.
At the edge of a parking garage, almost out of the parking garage, in what I believe was urine, because I didn't want to go into the parking lot. I mean, I didn't like step around in the urine. Like, I don't know why you think that, but I was like, oh, this is disgusting, but I'm not going further in. So
no, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, I want to bring up my favorite scene with you and Viola, the long monologue Viola has when you are getting under her skin on the stand. When I have it memorized, but I don't think I can muster up enough courage to say it all. But when she's like, the point of this trial was to present new evidence, but you haven't done that, or I haven't been arrested, or oh my god, now I'm gonna flake. Oh my god.
No.
What the point of this trial was to present me with new evidence, but that isn't the case. Or but to attack me with accusations and insinuations, making this very clear that this is not a preliminary hearing, but a witch hunt, and I did not put my hand on this court's Bible to be burned at the stake, and especially by a petty, foolish, amateur prosecutor that doesn't deserve mine or anyone else in this court's respect. Ah! Oh my god, I had to say that.
Oh my god. Viola here?
Oh my. And then your response is just like, not even like letting that get under your skin at all, and you're like, that's quite a temper, Miss Keating. Seems like you're more than capable of murder. And then that's like even a bigger sting to her, and then everyone in the crowd is like, oh, like, yeah, you can see it really. But yeah, so I was wondering if you could talk about that scene because it's iconic.
That is the scene that I was thinking about, where I could not believe that she was doing that. I was worried that I I had to walk around this courtroom and I couldn't have anything to like,
Hide behind,
and
yeah.
I'm like, you can't screw this up because she is on fire.
Just did that. Yeah.
But I'm. Have you ever seen the movie Beetle? This is silly, but have you ever seen the Beetlejuice? The movie Beetlejuice?
Yes, iconic.
One of my absolute favorites. Do you remember the scene where Lydia Deetz meets Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis for the first time, and they said
in
something
the
strange and unusual?
in the attic, right? Yeah.
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 And she says, like, I myself am strange and unusual. I, that was that. I loved her so, so much growing up. I dyed my hair black. I begged my mother to put black silk on my walls. And no, that did not happen. But
Not even the hair.
the hair happened.
Oh, the hair did.
Black hair. I named my cat Lydia. I like dressed all in black. To this day, nearly the same. I was like,
Do
and
the
then
little dance at the end.
oh god, I love, and even like, and that is why I only do 2 shows. Like I always think, but anyway, that's kind of that like, oh, that was fun. But the character Emily saying that, I felt very powerful in that moment because Viola Davis is like this strength and like it feels like she's fully invested in her words and her work, and so if she's passionate about something, if anyone
You
is
can see
passionate
it. Yeah.
about it, well, and you see that in her, but when someone gets passionate about something, I don't know if you've had this interaction in life, but there's a person but we've seen it, a person who's passionate about something and someone's like, oh, sounds like somebody's got their period, excuse me, but where it's just like, it's something, it's like, I just gave you my emotions, my heart, and you just said, oh, it felt very like, for me in the character, the villain had power, but I could see how dismissive, like, I want so badly to do this thing, and I feel great about it, and I know it's hard, and I really want to be an actress. Sounds like somebody has some dreams. That's kind of,
Yeah.
but so it felt to me like it fed the villain side of Emily Sinclair. But like, even I was like, ugh, like, you're winning this, you won in that moment, but she's gonna get you, so don't hang on to it. And also a little bit of Lydia Deetz, like,
Oh my, I can't.
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch Beetlejuice tonight in honor of
Yeah, I love
and
that.
Catherine O'Hara's iconic.
Oh, I think I sometimes I'll say things at home, like, I'm only truly happy when I'm doing my art, or like, I don't know if that's the exact sculpture or the exact language, but
yeah.
And just like, if you know, I will tell you, and I will go. It's that moment where she freaks out. That happens to me quite a bit with my family. So,
right. Mm-hmm. Oh man, yeah, I need to learn the beginning of that. Oh, it's I will not stand for this, Your Honor. I have the utmost respect for you and your court, but I will not stand for this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm amazed that you got that. I can't even remember
it came from
throughout half the day.
So. And she's like correcting the judge, like argumentative, and she's like, "What did I say?" Yeah, like she's like going, "Yeah, okay, I got that." Okay, we have to bring up the Flash. Or no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. We're gonna stick on. We're gonna stay on 202 because it has one of the best endings of an episode. I think is when they're at the Hapstall mansion, and the kids are running out after Annalise is shot, and they run down the stairs, and then who's laying there with the heels on and the pool of blood, and then it pans up and it's like, it's like one of the best endings, like, from the whole episode, like any episode. So what was your reaction when you found out that Emily Sinclair wasn't gonna make it?
Well, I think it's an honor on that show if you're the one they're murdering,
right?
Like I knew I had a little job security at that point.
It's
Um,
in the title, right? So.
it was like, but it was, we tried many different ways to to have my body like where I would be. And I spent so much time lying with like legs and heels and like,
Different direct.
yeah. And this like really beautiful kind of stately mansion in maybe not necessarily Pasadena, but perhaps
It's the Pink Castle, I think it's called. It's like a kind of historical like I kind of looked it up because I want to visit it, but yeah,
there's a lot of places in that area that up kind of against the foothills of that area that are really incredible. And I remember spending a lot of time, waiting while they were setting up the scene or they were doing another scene, and we were just kind of being held for a bit, just and just wondering like, how do people live in this house? It's like a museum, and who cleans it? My first thought was like, who's cleaning it? I know if you have that house.
Do they have any pets? Right?
Yeah, very good lint rollers. Can you eat like a sandwich in this room? I don't know, because I was like a pile of rubble. But a lot of it was spent, kind of contemplating life while lying twisted at the bottom of the staircase, or worrying that people were going to run over me as they fled.
And their foot traffic, right?
Just like, oh, but
she's not dead.
No, but I played a dead body once before. My character's name was Nemaya, and I'm blanking on the name right now. It'll come back to me. But
had some experience in the dead body.
Yes, but I was solely a dead body in that, and it was neat because then someone would pick you up and help you to your seat, and your body would be like, "What is that all about? Is this what it's like? I don't,
Is that the light?
Yeah.
What were some of the other ways that, or you said they were trying to figure out, or like where your body was going to be, or?
Well, at first I was an interior staircase. Oh, and I was thankful that that's not how it worked, because it was very uncomfortable. Oof. I don't know why I preferred laying on stone and asphalt to wood, but for some reason, if I have to make a choice, that's what I'll go.
Nice little breeze, little
like a nice breeze. I like the night air. I mean, the moon and stars. I can't see them because I'm looking at the asphalt, but it's really neat because like I got to be present on the set while they're doing like the setups and stuff. Like sometimes I'd go in a little bit ahead. I really like to watch the film crew work. It's really like, it needs so much good into it. Like it's, I just love, I love it. There's so much skill, so many things that I do not I'm like, how do you even know that? I watch my partner like set lights and I can't conceive of it. I would not be able to perform brain surgery. I would try if you insist, but like
sign this paper.
Yeah, like you have to at least talk to a lawyer first. But there's just so it was kind of neat to see like how exact it is, and everyone does their part to put the puzzle together, and then the actors come in and I could. So anyway, my point is that I got to watch kind of a bit more than I would normally if I was entering a scene, or because I was laying there like a dead body. The dead don't sleep. The dead take notes. So
I've had two writers from the show on the podcast so far, and it's like really interesting, like hearing how much work the episodes go through before they're finally filmed, and we see it on the screen as the fans. So it's kind of like the same thing, like you watching them set up, and I love that, like hearing stuff like that.
It's crazy, like the writers get together and they write, and then however they take each episode or work on episodes together, and then you do read-throughs and then see what works, and then like I'm sure they told you all this, and then the final, then it's like, then you're laying there while people are giving you a blanket to lift up your head or moving your arm. No, and someone's coming over to say, wait, your hand was like this in this one, but your hand's like that. whatever, so it can be, because if they're going to need to cut, yeah, especially too, whenever you watch something in continuity, it between edits, it's off. I think like, oh, there it is, but then I think the person who did it is probably like, God damn it.
They messed right. You're like happy you found it, but
yeah, like it's like a little gift, a little treasure, but the person who, that's
their biggest
job, and that could be a thousand reasons for that happening, not just, it could be luck. But so, someone's coming over and adjusting you and moving you, and someone's always coming over, and I seem to remember some people checking on me.
Water.
Margarita. Yeah, can you drink? Stat. Yeah.
Was there any or from that, when you filmed that scene laying on the ground, did you know that Asher was going to be the one to kill you, or was that still up in the?
No, I don't remember when I found out.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What was your reaction when you found out that Asher was going to be the one to do it?
Sounds like something to hide. I thought you and I got along, Matt. That's kind of what I thought. I was like, all right, we can move that way. But I mean, it makes sense the way they built to it, and it was because he had something to hide, and
then you throw in the last little, your father was a terrible man, Asher. Like, the world's better. Just spitting facts, and then revert, right?
It's crazy because, like, in real life, if somebody said something like that, I'd be like, oh, God. I wouldn't be like, all right, it's time to kill this person. That's what's so wild about it, because we wouldn't do that, but we get to live through this heightened, incredible world, and this this cast of characters that, like, despite the fact that they're murdering people and lying and covering up, we're like, who cares? I want to be with them,
Get away with it, please.
Yeah, please go away. It's so stressful. I can't. The other day I was checking myself out at a supermarket. Something went wrong, because I put like, this is such an interesting story. Feel free to edit it out. I put that bag down, and I think it thought I was trying to, like, pull one over. And when the manager came over to check and count if I had done the right thing, there was a brief moment where I was like, what if I'm going to get busted? I didn't. Like, I'm not stealing. Because I don't want to get caught. I don't think stealing, like.
I thought you were going to say, what if I kill this man?
No, just came over, and I was so worried that I hadn't charged myself for the squeezable yogurts that I killed her. I just killed her. Because, like, honestly, why leave anything to.
There's no cameras in the store.
It's like only like 4 or 5, people in my immediate vicinity, so it's fine. It's like, it just makes everything easy. Start new. No, just kidding. I would like to go on record to say that I think that everyone should be free to live their own lives, and I'm not anyone.
I, Sarah Burns. And then the parking garage scene. What was it like? Filming that and laying under the car, and how was all that, like, behind the scenes and stuff?
Well, it wasn't the scariest, like, stunt I've been a part of, or but there's still that, like, what, it's like going on a roller coaster. You can see that it's held together with, like, nuts and bolts and steam, but this whole process of being on a roller coaster is like, wait, is this gonna give? Is it gonna be
the last ride?
Yeah, am I the one? Especially, like, if you've ever ridden a cyclone in Brooklyn.
No.
I am obligated to tell you, please don't, because I'm not knocking. I won't knock anything Brooklyn, but it is terrifying, because you're just like, this has been sitting out by the ocean for over 100 years.
In the weather.
I swear, the time I read it, wrote it, the guy, the conductor, or the person he gave me this look like, okay.
Pulling the
What happened?
outsider.
Like I just felt like but that's the whole thing about a roller coaster is that the fright of it is like, is this going to collapse? And
Final
I
destination.
I was a little scared during, is there's no way because of the way everything was angled that I'd be hurt as he was driving. Um, and I trusted him as not, was fully capable and of sound mind. But there's that. So it kind of adds to the excitement of the moment. And then I was more frightened being under the car because I had just moments, not moments, but they brought the doctor under that, found I was expecting a baby. So I didn't know,
Oh no.
I had no idea what to do.
The
Yeah.
fumes from the car.
Yeah, I know. Lying on the cold floor, being under a car will crush my head, but.
Oh my god.
And it's sad too, because it's the end of the end of my stroll down
Murder Lane, right?
Murder Lane. Exactly.
And oh, I was gonna ask, did you watch the show before you were on it, like the first part of season 1? Oh, heck.
I watched more of it. Like I'd watched an episode or two, and then watched more when I knew I was going on because I
were you
didn't.
instantly hooked like everyone else, or?
Yeah, and everyone's not to diminish anyone's ability, but everyone's so beautiful. Like it's why not look? Like why not watch? Not that people honestly like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and like
yeah,
I don't mean like traditionally, just because I find all things beautiful, but it's just like it's such like a fully like beautiful shot. I'm just like the lighting, the sets, like just
the music,
yeah, just, it's a whole package. It's like such a neat. It's really cool. Sometimes people will say, because I'm not instantly recognizable to more than a handful of people, but a lot of times when people are like, what do I know you from? I'm like, probably How to Get Away with Murder, because everybody watches that show.
Have you ever been stopped for someone recognizing you from Murder?
Yeah, I've seen people. Most people wouldn't know. I'm not the person you want. Whoa, halt! I don't. They're more like, wait, what's this? But and it'll come out. But no one's ever like, excuse me, I drove by you 30 miles ago, and I did everything. People are like,
I did a U-turn when I wasn't supposed to.
that's not it's like,
I would.
Either be me being like, "Hi, I saw you 30 minutes ago, and I thought you might recognize me, so I was wondering." No,
did you want a picture?
Thank you. I actually said something. Someone once, the person was like, "Wait a second, I recognize you," and I thought, "Oh, I'm an actress." She was like, "No," and it truly was that I'd been in that doctor's office before.
Oh my!
I was like, "Cool, so you wavy now." Awesome.
Not with Oscar award-winning Viola Davis.
I'm just a really cool lady who's here to the tonsils checked or whatever. I don't remember what I was there for, but.
And then, did you keep up with the show after you were done on it, or?
I kind of fell off watching the show, but that's not because of the show. It was because I changed the way I watch television. Huh. And I know I don't watch
live or.
Yeah, my friend Gia Carides was on the show the other day, 911.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, I have to watch this the day after because I don't watch, and I still have to do it. I don't watch television during the day. I like television so much, but if I started watching TV during the day, I'd never leave my house. Right. And at night, I'm like, but so no, I stopped. I'm pretty far behind in the show, but I would keep up with it, kind of like following people on Instagram or like looking at the world kind of thing.
Sinclair sprinkled out throughout the rest of the show, so pictures.
Or dead decomposing body.
Right. The pile of photos of the
Yeah.
dead people. And then I kind of wanted to end it off with asking what was your most memorable moment or experience you've taken away from working on the show,
Well,
or your
one
biggest takeaway, or
well, that definitely, I don't know, because a lot of shows I'm saying, I'm thinking about the writers, like writers were so good. It's been exciting to like watch people kind of go in these different directions and like take on new things. I had one brief little moment. Like sometimes we go from the set to back to like where our trailers or where hair and makeup was, and a lot of times like just take a golf cart because that would make things quicker, and that way they know where everyone is. And
get lost.
one time our golf cart ran into, because Scandal was on the set as well, on the spot as well, and Kerry Washington. I just like completely shut my mouth while they all interacted because I was like, again, this is harking back to me being pregnant, and but before I found out I was pregnant, I had a conversation, just Viola, very like off, and she asked, are you thinking of ever having kids? And I said, oh, I don't know, thinking about it possibly, and she said, well, you can do it. Or so, she gave me such, I wish I could remember the advice she gave. She gave me such interesting, insightful advice that just a few days later would ring true, and I'd carry it with me. And I've since now forgotten completely what the woman said. But I remember being struck, like, wait, are you additionally a mind reader? To being like, it made me feel like things were okay, Something along the lines like, well, it can be done, or something. I don't know.
You can do.
I can do it, kiddo.
Viola has spoken.
Yeah, like, yeah. And in that moment, I conceived a child by myself because she's that magical. But
oh, I love it. Oh. And then any other future projects we can look forward to? Werewolves Within, and then Eat Wheaties is out now. Any other you can talk about?
I'm about to. Well, I'm about to start shooting Barry.
Oh, okay.
So like that's coming back. I always think of Barry Berkman. Like I'm not saying a damn thing about that because Barry Berkman. But I will say. I say very little about that, but I've read the scripts. I've never in my entire life read a script that I've laughed so hard whilst reading that I had to stop because I couldn't breathe to read. You know when you giggle so much that you're like,
your stomach hurts.
I was reading it. I had to like, I gotta stop reading because I'm physically incapable of doing so at this time. I'm very excited about that. So, everything has been on pause for the whole world. So that show is
Oof, I'm excited. Oof. And then Werewolves Within, and then Eat Wheaties is out now, and this podcast will be out.
Yeah. Will you tell me when it's airing and stuff so I can? Yeah. Or it's a secret. It's a secret. I'm not allowed to know.
It's a surprise drop. No, I was gonna edit it tonight and then have it be up tomorrow so people can watch during the weekend or the free time. Yeah, I like to get it up quick because
Well, that's good because that's not. It can for me. Like if I don't do something, like answer something right away, or and it hangs over my head, it's like, oh my god,
I didn't do it.
So, yeah.
3 p.m., 1 p.m.
Pacific. Yeah. I know. I know. And it's like, birthday week. But still, part of the reason why I wrote you this morning was because I was like, what if I screw it up again? I'm insane.
Wanted that. Oh my God.
Well, and two, my daughter is homesick today.
Yeah, I understand.
I knew that she was sick in the middle of the night, and I actually thought, like, guarantee I'm gonna have to take her to the doctor at like 1 p.m., 3 p.m. You know, like it didn't play out that way. I'm just neglecting her. But no, I'm just kidding. But I'm glad I'm glad I got it together. And you're so kind.
Thank you. I'm happy you put I'm running 5 minutes behind her. You know.
Well, yeah, then you'd be like, oh, she's doing it again. Here she goes. I was hyper aware of because we talked about this, the feeling of like waiting. You don't know what to do with it. I feel like, wait, am I being asked? Am I put myself out here? Oh, anyway, I'm sorry.
No, I just like pulling. It's like, you're fine. It all worked out. Got the secrets. Oh. But I don't want to take up any more of your day, and your daughter's sick, so you can get back to her and clean your dog fur up.
I know, exactly. Taking out mountains of dog hair from my house this afternoon.
What kind of dogs do you have? What dog?
I have a German Shepherd mix who looks kind of like a gorgeous wolf, and then a little. I actually surprised my kitten wasn't involved in this, but I have a 5 or 6 month old kitten, and Mazzy is the dog, and Amarette is the cat, and Mazzy's a wolf, and she's like this small, and they play. And like we all in the household, we all fight for to be her favorite, the Amarette little kitten. I don't think I'm winning, but they're pretty cute.
Oh, I want a cat.
They're so neat. They're so spectacular.
My friends Kylie and Sarah have a husky, so
so those
bright blue eyes. And
are they both blue, or are they?
Yeah, both blue. Yeah.
So that's like that's a dog with an undercoat, which means probably like mounds of like. I bet you if you looked closely at their couch, it would just be dog hair. But
don't wear black over there.
please hug that dog for me.
I'll send you a picture.
Yes.
Send pictures of our animals.
Yeah, little like you're like, okay, Sarah, no more with the cat. Wait, what? No. I thought I sent you a picture of my cat.
Oh man, but thank you again for coming on and spilling all the secrets of Emily Sinclair, and I'm honored to talk to you. And
thank you for asking me. Thank you for asking me and chatting with me, and I like chatting with you. So thank you.
Have a new friendship.
Yes, please.
But thank you so much. It was finally nice to finally talk to you and finally get that. I was happy to do Annalise's monologue to you.
That was incredible. That's really, I'm impressed because I couldn't even do my own in that episode for you. So, bravo to you, Niall.
Thank you. I'm gonna watch that episode later.
And at some point,
I will.
Within 48 hours. No, I'm just kidding. But I recommend them highly. So.
I will. Also, if you do get caught up on the show, in season 5, they named a client after me. So when you,
that's so cool.
Right? It was one of the clients, Annalise defends in episode 3 in season 5, they named Niles after me. So when the writers.
That's so cool. That's so bad. It's like to be woven into the fabric of the show. That's so cool.
It was crazy. I still can't believe it, but
I get it. You're rad. And they know that. So like, yeah. That's cool. That's cool.
When you watch, just remember.
I'll keep you posted. It's one of those things like, when you're like, I gotta get back to that. What the hell do I do with my days? I don't know. But when I find out, I'll let you know.
But yes, I can't thank you enough. And it was so much fun.
I hope you'll stay in touch, actually.
I will. If I don't want to like be annoying or anything, but
no, that's my job. I mean, so
it'll balance out.
Yeah. We'll be like, we're both annoying each other.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But I suck at ending these. But
Oh, I do too. I know. Well, I hope you have a continued birthday week of
yes,
celebrations. And
27. Ugh. I have
yeah,
cake to eat, so should
yeah,
go
you
have a
need to
piece.
get on your cake. I'm gonna eat lunch. I'm gonna. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do it.
Not clean.
No, I'm not. Not today. It's beyond a state of repair at this point.
Oh man.
Just let a strong wind blow it all away, and then it'll be fine.
The summer breeze. But yes, I will text you and it sounds weird. I'm
And
honored, but yeah. But yes, thank you again, and I'll send you the link when it's up if you want to share it around.
I will. I will do that.